Hari Hari.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glory to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Hari Hari Bol. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Shami Itanamane Shri Sarasate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
We're studying the Chaitanya Charitamrita. We're at Madhya Lila, chapter 20, and text number
258.
258?
Yes, that's Sanskrit.
Oh, okay. Oh, really? I thought we're beyond that. Okay. Oh, yes. Sahasrapatram kamalam gokulakyam mahatpadam tatkarnikaram tadhama taranantam shasambhavam. Gokul, the supreme abode and planet, appears like a lotus flower that has 1,000 petals. The whirl of that lotus is the abode of the Supreme Lord Krishna. This lotus-shaped supreme abode is created by the will of Lord Ananta. Purport. This verse is quoted from Brahma Samhita 5.2. So this verse is right after Ishvara Paramakrishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Radhi Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. And this verse specifically describes the meditation of Lord Brahma when it says that he, in the beginning of creation, he was born on the lotus that grew from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So therefore his name is Padmaja, another name for Lord Brahma. So then he wanted to figure out, well, what's going on? Where am I come from? What's all about? So he started to climb down the stem of the lotus and to see what is the origin of his this lotus was, but it became turbulent, and so he decided, well, it's too dangerous. So he started to climb back up, and all the way back up, he heard sounds vibrated in the ether. You know the sounds? Sudevi knows.
Was it Om?
Good guess, but no.
He said tapa.
Yeah. He heard the sound tapa, which means austerity, and he took it as an instruction. So he went back up on top of the lotus and sat down in meditation, and this is what he meditated on, beginning with Sahasrapatram Kamalam, beginning Ishvara Param Krishna, then Sahasrapatram Kamalam. So it's very interesting. Text 259.
Maya dare shrije teho brahmander gon jor rupa prakriti nohe brahmando karon.
By the agency of the material energy, the same Lord Sankarshan creates all the universes. The dull material energy, known in modern language as nature, is not the cause of the material universe.
জড় হইতে সৃষ্টি নহে ঈশ্বর শক্তি বিনে, তাহাতেই সংকর্ষণ করে শক্তির আধানে।
Without the Supreme Personality of Godhead's energy, dull matter cannot create the cosmic manifestation. Its power does not arise from the material energy itself, but is endowed by sankarshan. And we'll see later. Yeah, we'll see.
ঈশ্বরের শক্তে সৃষ্টি করয়ে প্রকৃতি, লৌহ যেন অগ্নিশক্তে পায় দাহ শক্তি।
Dull matter alone cannot create anything. The material energy produces the creation by the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Iron itself has no power to burn, but when iron is placed in fire, it is empowered to burn. Then this is Sanskrit. Etau hi vishvasya cha bijajoni Ramo Mukunda Purusha Pradhanam Anviya Bhuteshu Vilakshanasya Gyanasya Cheshata Imao Purano. Balaram and Krishna are the original, efficient, and material causes of the material world. As Mahavishnu and the material energy, they enter into the material elements and create the diversities by multi-energies. Thus, they are the cause of all causes. This verse is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, 46th chapter, 31st verse.
সৃষ্টি হেতু যেই মূর্তি প্রপঞ্চে অবতরে, সেই ঈশ্বর মূর্তি অবতার নাম ধরে।
The form of the Lord that descends into the material world to create is called an avatar or incarnation.
মায়াতীত পরব্রহ্ম সবার অবস্থান, বিশ্বে অবতরি ধরে অবতার নাম।
All the expansions of Lord Krishna are actually residents of the spiritual world. However, when they descend into the material world, they are called incarnations, avatar.
সেই মায়া অবলোকিতে শ্রী শঙ্কর্ষণ, পুরুষ রূপে অবতীর্ণ হইলা প্রথম।
To glance over that material energy and empower her, Lord Sankarshan first incarnates as Lord Mahavishnu.
Next is Sanskrit.
Oh yeah. Jagrihe Paurusham Rupam Bhagavan Mahadadibi Sambhutam Sodashakalam Adoloka Shishikshaya. In the beginning of the creation, the Lord expanded himself in the form of the Purusha incarnation, accompanied by all the ingredients of material creation. First, he created the 16 principal energies suitable for creation. This was for the purpose of manifesting the material universes. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 131. For an explanation, refer to Adi Lila chapter 5, verse 884. So, as you might know, in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, third chapter, the different incarnations are listed. And the first incarnations are described, they're the Purusha avatars. We don't always think of them as incarnations, but yes, they're incarnations first from Sankarshan. Mahavishnu is expanded for creation of the material universes. And then by his glance, he impregnates the material universes with jivas. He brings it to action. Then he expands his Garbhodakshay Vishnu. So that's why in the temple room, if you look, there's different prints of different avatars there on the back wall. And one of them is Mahavishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu, because according to Srimad Bhagavatam, those are also incarnations. Usually people think of the incarnations as like the Dasa avatar, but these Karanadakshay, Mahavishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, etc., they're also here described as incarnations. Okay, this is Sanskrit too, right?
Yeah.
Adyo Vatara Purusha Parasya Kala Sharabhava Sadasan Manascha Dravyam Vikaro Guna Indriyani Virat Swarat Stanshnu Chirishnu Bhumna. Karanadhishayi Vishnu, Mahavishnu, is the first incarnation of the Supreme Lord, and he is the master of eternal time, space, cause and effects, mind, elements, material ego, modes of nature, senses, the universal form of the Lord, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and the sum total of all living beings, both moving and non-moving. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.642. For an explanation, refer to Adi Lila chapter 5, verse 83. These descriptions and commentary in the Chaitanya Charitamrita are about under the description of Lord Nityananda, because he's the original Sankarshan, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is glorifying him, describing him not just as a regular person, but as here the creator of the entire material universes.
সেই পুরুষ বিরজাতে করেন শয়ন কারণাতিশায়ী নাম জগৎ কারণ.
That original personality of Godhead named Sankarshan first lies down in the river Viraja, which serves as a border between the material and spiritual worlds. As Karanadapshayi Vishnu, he is the original cause of the material creation.
কারণাব্দি পারে মায়ার নিত্য অবস্থিতি বিরজার পারে পরব্রহ্ম নাহি গতি.
The Biraja, or causal ocean, is the border between the spiritual and material worlds. The material energy is situated on one shore of that ocean, and it cannot enter onto the other shore, which is the spiritual sky. Sometimes, in the Bhagavad Gita, we see there's a description, Udvamulam Adashakam. You know this? 15th chapter.
Yeah.
So it's a description of the material world as a tree, Udvamulam, but the roots are up and the adosh and the branches are down, adoshakam. So this is the Viraja river. So on the other side of the Viraja river or ocean is the spiritual world, and we're on this side, and the reflection you see on the surface of the water coming from the other side naturally would be upside down. So things that are very elevated in that side, here they're the most degraded. So therefore, like the amorous pastimes of Radha and Krishna in unmarried in that world, reflected here, become the lowest thing. Running around with men womanizing and such. Another comment here is that sometimes it's called the Viraja is also a name given to the river that someone crosses before entering the kingdom of Yamaraj. Have you heard that before? Sometimes it's called Vaitarani, sometimes it's called Viraja. Anyway, but this is different than that. This Viraja is the causal ocean that separates material and spiritual worlds. Not the same as the river that one crosses before entering the area of the kingdom of Yama after death.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Baitarani Nadi is the same Birija here, Prabhuji?
No, that's what I was saying. It's different.
Okay.
Different. Yeah. Sometimes that Vaitarani is also given the name Viraja. Sometimes you'll find it in some places, but it's a different thing. Yeah. Just like, you have London in Great Britain, and there's London here. And there's a London in most states have a town called London, but they're not the same. It's not the same London as in Great Britain, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Even in upstate New York, there's a town called Delhi. If you look on the map, so but that's not Delhi, the capital of India. So even though the names sometimes are used similarly, they're different places. Paravartate jatra rajastamastayo sattvam cha mishram na cha kala vikrama na yatra maya kimuta pare harer anuvrata yatra surashita. In the spiritual world, there is neither the mode of passion, the mode of ignorance, nor a mixture of both, nor is there adulterated goodness, nor the influence of time or Maya itself. Only the pure devotees of the Lord, who are worshipped both by demigods and by demons, reside in the spiritual world as the Lord's associates. Purport. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.10 was spoken by Srila Shukadev Goswami. He was answering the questions of Parikshit Maharaj, who asked how the living entity falls down into the material world. Shukadev Goswami explained the cream of Srimad Bhagavatam in 4 verses, which had been explained to Lord Brahma at the end of the severe austerities he performed for 1,000 celestial years. At that time, Brahma was shown the spiritual world and its transcendental nature. So in this material world, even though one might aspire for the mode of goodness, which gives a sense of happiness, not encumbered by anxiety and illusion, still, even within the material world, there's always a tint of passion and ignorance mixed with goodness. Shuddha Sattva, or the Vasudev state, is when those taints of passion and ignorance are completely freed from the heart. And that's the condition in the spiritual world. Kata ganam natyam gamanam api vangsi prashaki. Then in that spiritual world, all walking is dancing. Can you imagine? All talking is song. And the flute is the favorite attendant. So Brahma was meditating on that, and then the cream of the Srimad Bhagavatam, that's four shlokas are there. Aham mevesameva agre, that Lord Krishna explains this to Lord Brahma, and from that the Srimad Bhagavatam is expanded. 2nd canto. Text 271.
মায়ার যে 2 বৃত্তি, মায়া আর প্রধান, মায়া নিমিত্ত হেতু, বিশ্বের উপাদান প্রধান.
Maya has 2 functions. One is called Maya and the other is called Pradhan. Maya refers to the efficient cause, and Pradhan refers to the ingredients that create the cosmic manifestation. For a further explanation, see Adi Lila, chapter 5, verse 58. You know about this, the efficient cause? Anyway, in philosophy, there's there's the remote cause or the efficient cause. Efficient means is the cause that's really right direct. So Maya is the cause of the creation, but actually, if you step back, Mahavishnu is, and Mahavishnu is, to step back, you go all the way back to Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna. So efficient means the one that's the cause that's right there doing it. Right there.
সেই পুরুষ মায়া পানে করে অবধান, প্রকৃতি ক্ষোভিত করি করে বীর্যের আধান.
When the Supreme Personality of Godhead glances over the material energy, she becomes agitated. At that time, the Lord injects the original semina of the living entities. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 7:10, Krishna says, Bijam mam sarvabhutanam. I am the original seed of all existence. This is also confirmed in another verse in Bhagavad Gita 14:4. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murteya sambhavanti ja tasam brahma mahad jonir aham bija pradapita. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. So it's like in the regular dealings, there's the father and the mother. So the original father is Krishna, and the original mother is the material nature, Maya. For a further explanation, one may refer to the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, verses 10 through 13. Brahma Samhita also states, Agnir Mahi Gaganam Ammu Barudishascha Kalas Tatatva Manasiti Jagatrayani Yasmad Bhavanti Vibhavanti Vishanti Yamcha Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. All material elements, as well as the spiritual sparks, individual souls, are emanating from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, Agni, you can find Agni is fire, Mahi is the earth, Ambu, Morud, Ambu, water, Morud is the wind, Dishascha, air, Kalas, time, Atma, all these, mind, Manasiti, they're all coming from Govinda. This is also confirmed by the Vedanta Sutra, first canto, first verse, Janmad Yasya Yataha. The absolute truth is he from whom everything emanates, which is the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, begins with that. Janmad Yasya Yaton Vayat Ditaratas Chate Shvabhigya Svarat. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is understood as the commentary on Vedanta Sutra by the author, Vyasdev. And that's why in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for many, many generations, there was no commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, because Vyasa's commentary in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam was considered sufficient. Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, Shankaracharya, they all have their commentaries in Vedanta Sutra. But later, during the time of Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, there was some challenge to the authenticity of the Gaudiya Sampradaya. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur requested his disciple Baladev Vidyabhushan to write a commentary on Vedanta Sutra. So he took permission, though. He didn't do it just whimsically, but in the sight of that history, he went to the temple of Govindaji in Jaipur and begged permission from the Lord to give him a knowledge and understanding to write that commentary, and therefore, and that he did. Actually, he Lord Govinda dictated that or gave him the understanding of that. Therefore, the Gaudiya additional commentary on Vedanta Sutra is called Govinda Bhashya. You know, just like it's other people will say this is different bhashyas. This is the Bhashya on Vedanta Sutra by Govinda. So that's Govindaji in Jaipur. He is the supreme truth, Satyam Param Dhimahi. The absolute ultimate truth is Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadyash. Oh, here it is. Janmadyasya Yaton Vayaditaratas Chartesh Vabhigya Swarat. The absolute truth is a person who is directly and indirectly cognizant of the entire cosmic manifestation. Directly and indirectly. Directly, because he's there as super soul in everyone's heart, in the atom and between the atom, and indirectly, because he knows through the living entities, he knows all living entities, so he can know that way also. The absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, educated Lord Brahma from the heart. Bhagavatam 111. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. Therefore, the absolute truth cannot be dull matter. The absolute truth must be the Supreme Person himself. Se Purusha Maya Pane Kare Avadhan. Simply by his glance, material nature is impregnated with all living entities. So this is the creation scenario. And the material science has a different creation scenario, but this rivals that creation scenario. And none of us are going to go be able to go back to the time of creation to see what actually happened. The best way to get the information is to get it from an authoritative source. If a person wants to know who their father is, they can speculate about it, but the best way to find out who your father is
Mother.
Ask your mom. She knows best. She knows best. Similarly, to understand how this whole world creation came about, the best person to ask, the best way to find out is the Vedas. The Vedas are like the mother. So they give information. According to their karma and fruitive activities, the living entities emerge in different bodies. That is explained in the Bhagavad Gita 2:13. Dehinosmin yata dehe kumaram yovanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatrana mukhyati. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. Questions, comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Wonderful.
Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhuji, Vedanta Sutra 1.1 and Bhagavatam 1.1. Bhagavatam, we see that there is a Janma Dasya Anvaditartas Charthasva Vigasarata. So, is that the same? Start from the same verse?
Yes.
Vedanta Sutra.
Yes. Yes. Janmadyasya yata. I mean, just the word is combined there, yaton, but it's still yataha with an added. You know, in Sanskrit, there's sandhi rules. You know this. Yeah. Sandhi rules, so that the words come together. But still, it's the word is there, yataha.
Okay. So Vedanta Sutra covers similar kind of thing like what we are having in Bhagavatam.
Well, it's sutra means they're condensed. It's a condensed. It's like there's all the Vedas, and then after compiling all the Vedas, Vyasadeva condensed them into some short codes. Okay. To summarize the Vedas, and so because they're short, they can be easily misinterpreted as well. But they're given in short codes like that. Janmad yataha atato brahma jigyasa These are short codes, summarizing things. It's like sometimes students, when they don't want to do the homework, they get the Cliff's Notes. Do they have that in India?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very short, but you might not get the proper understanding. People can, it's shortened. When you have to pass the test, you don't always get the best understanding through the Cliff's Notes. But anyway, that was Vyasadev's effort, was to first compile all the 4 Vedas, and then he wrote Vedanta Sutra, Mahabharata, the Puranas, for the benefit of everybody. But still, he was discouraged because it didn't feel right. Something was wrong. So his guru told him, now you've neglected to make it very clear that the purpose of all these Vedas is to understand and serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because there are other things mixed in. Worship of various demigods, worship of the impersonal Brahman are also mixed in the Vedas for the people who want to do those things along the path to spiritual life. But so Narad said, you now write something that gives a literature that gives direct, clear information about the purpose of life being to understand and serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and to glorify his activities and pastimes. So then he did Srimad Bhagavatam, and then he was satisfied at that time.
Yeah. Nice, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, I'm going to have to go because we're doing the Vyasa Puja celebration, Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja celebration. So hopefully they'll tune in around 10 o'clock at the temple, and there'll be celebrations going on from 10 till 1 o'clock. So hope to see there either personally or virtually. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Srila Prabhupada.
Vaishnava Namo. Ananta Koti Vaishnava.